So for the warm-up, we got shoulder, internal and external rotations. You can use a band, you can use weight, doesn't really matter. I just like using the band for both of these because I can get a good pump in the muscle, get a lot of blood flow. But yeah, it's up to you. After this, we're going to move on to some wrist extensions. This is going to make sure that the back of the wrist is working for us quite well. I find that a lot of times, just for general people, this is untrained. So doing these is going to help out any elbow pain, maybe even some bicep pain if you have it. And then we're going to move on to some ulnar deviations. This I find is going to be fantastic for lockouts, especially on the log or in a neutral position. Also helps to get the tricep and the other part of the elbow going as well. And then we're going to finish up with some rear delt flies. You can do one set of 20 with these. You can do 2 sets of 20. It's really up to you, but this is just more of a warm to get the muscles going for us. Do you love shitty quad supersets as much as I do? Well, if you do, you are going to fucking love this. The heel elevated position allows you to get a nice good range of motion, especially for those people with crappy ankle mobility. It also gets you more upright, which decreases the force on your back. And then when we hop over onto this leg extension, we get a lot of extra volume in, a lot of extra blood flow to the area. Super good pump. You're going to be walking with a limp after this one. Big thing here is to make sure you're getting a good squeeze at the top and you're pushing to those 20 reps. Lower the weight if you can't. Grip work is just awesome. Here I'm doing the rolling thunder. This little warm-up I'm doing right now, my wrist is feeling pretty creaky, so I just did a few just rolls with it just to kind of get things moving. When you're doing this, you want to get your hips kind of right over top of the load. Make sure you push your knees forward and try and use your lower body to get as much of a push. Your upper body just kind of holds the weight. You kind of see me doing a little bit of an exaggeration and a shrug at the top. Normally in the sport, there's a pin you have to hit to make sure you get the just the full range of motion. So I just make sure I commit to that and kind of go on my tiptoes if I need to. But yeah, a little bit of a shrug there. There are a lot of little secrets to get better at this, but the big thing, I guess, for you guys is going to be making sure you don't get hurt with it. So if your hand starts to open up, like your palm starts to twist forward, you want to make sure you drop the weight. That's not good. You want to make sure that your palm is always twisted in, hands always facing in, because if it does turn out, that just puts way more stress on your bicep, which could fucking tear it, which you definitely don't want to do, especially if you're just trying to get a stronger grip, man. This is my top set. Failed with my right hand. My left hand's a lot stronger right now. I think this is like, I don't know, 173 or something like that. I'll show you the next little thing here. Oh yeah. How much is that weight? Show me. 173.567. Look at that. All right, for my intra-workout meal, I've got some mass gainer and dextrose going on here. This is gonna make sure I have some calories coming in. After about an hour, you wanna make sure you get those calories in. That's gonna help you fuel you for longer during your workout, especially for those people that are working out for, like, say, an hour and a half to 2 hours. So for an accessory to the rolling thunder, I'm going to do some pinch grip deadlifts. My pinch grip sucked when I first started doing this, so I put a lot of effort in. It's definitely a lot better now, but could always use more work. Another big benefit here you're going to get is resilience, strength through the tendons and ligaments around the wrist, fingers, elbow, bicep, all that good stuff, which is just going to make your time trying to get your grip a lot easier and a lot safer for you. What I think about here is trying to tear a foam book and trying to pinch my triceps into my lats as I stand up, and then just making sure that I'm keeping my chest up, driving my hips through, so that way I'm not putting any extra shitty stress on my low back. So, not a costume change, but just some stuff from the other day because I fucked up and did not record the things I did today. So an overhead tricep plate extension with a dumbbell after superset. Do not go to failure. Make sure you leave like 3 reps in the tank. That way you don't hurt your shoulder as you're bringing the weight back around after you're done the set. Biceps are a real common injury in strongman, and especially with the amount of stuff you pick up like stones, sandbags. There's just a lot of stuff that puts stress on your biceps. So when we're training them, you don't need to go hard and go heavy. If anything, that's just going to put you at a higher risk of fucking yourself up. Make sure you're doing reps controlled, get to that end range, get stronger that end range. And a big thing is make sure that your wrist doesn't curl forward. Try and keep it curled in. That's going to make sure that you have support on the other side of the elbow joint. Think the biceps on one side, your wrist joint is on the other side. So if you can flex your forearm by curling your wrist in a bit, that's just going to help with the stress on the bicep and elbow. Wrist curls for the girls, if you know what I mean. Big key here, make sure you go all the way up, all the way down on a tempo. Make sure you're not jumping, skipping over certain parts. If your wrists are cracking and popping in a painful way, probably just stop the exercise. I'm going to go for as many as I can leading up to maybe like say 3 before I fail. That's just going to make sure that I don't hurt my wrists. And I'm going to superset it with some arm wrestling practice, brah. We did some wrist extensions, some ulnar deviations, but we didn't really do any rotations with some good internal rotation as well. So if you do arm wrestling, things like that, this is a great general practice. If your elbows hurt, wrists hurt, this might be a good solution for you as well too. And if your internal rotation sucks, give this a try, guy. The key here is to make sure that you're pivoting on the elbow. You're not just moving and wiggling it around. And you kind of see that I'm really trying to twist my hand down towards the bench. I'm doing like 20 reps here if I can. I have a kind of tight band. The big thing is to make sure that you're not getting any stabby pain when you're doing this anywhere. Make sure it's a band that's appropriate for you. The cure for small calves lies in how you train them. The big thing is making sure that we do different types of calf training. So there are some that work when your leg is straight, some that work when your leg is bent. You want to do a combination of the both. I'm doing single leg to start because that's going to get the most amount of activation around my foot, because my other leg is not going to act as a crutch to maybe some shitty muscles that don't work so good. Then I'm going to sit down on that other one and I'm going to work the muscles that are just working around the ankle itself. That's also going to work on some foot activation as well too, and actually train my feet. So the calves are not just about the muscles you can see, but also a lot of muscles around the ankle and the foot that you cannot see.